Donald Trump. You know the name, you know the hair, and you definitely know the endless string of controversies he drags behind him like a runaway parade float made of lawsuits. From business dealings to his time in the White House, Trump has rarely been far from legal hot water. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into that boiling cauldron of litigation, focusing on the cases where he's taken some serious hits and the ones still swirling around him like angry wasps. Buckle up, folks, because this legal roller coaster is far from over. The sheer volume of legal actions against Trump is, frankly, astonishing. It's like he took a wrong turn off Pennsylvania Avenue and ended up in Lawsuit City. We're talking hush money, defamation, election interference, the list goes on. And while he may have traded in the Oval Office for the campaign trail, again, one thing remains constant: his legal woes are far from over. Trump's supporters will tell you it's all a witch hunt, a politically motivated attempt to silence their beloved leader. But the sheer number of cases, the evidence presented, and the judge's rulings tell a different story. It's a story of potential wrongdoing, of accountability, and of the long arm of the law slowly but surely catching up. So grab your gavel and your legal dictionary, because we're about to break down the biggest legal battles facing Donald Trump. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Let's start with a case that would make even the most seasoned Hollywood screenwriter blush: the Stormy Daniels hush money scandal. This isn't just a political thriller, it's a story of alleged affairs, secret payments, and campaign finance violations. In a nutshell, Trump was accused of paying adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 to keep quiet about an alleged affair before the 2016 election. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not your average Tuesday. The big question: whether these payments violated campaign finance laws. The answer, according to a New York jury, is a resounding yes. Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to the hush money scheme. That's right, folks, 34 counts. That's more felony counts than there are flavors of ice cream at your local Baskin-Robbins. While Trump is appealing the verdict, this case is a major blow to his reputation and a stark reminder that no one, not even a former president, is above the law. If there's one thing Donald Trump loves more than a well-cooked steak, well done of course, it's the sound of his own voice. But those words have come back to bite him, hard, in the form of 2 defamation lawsuits brought by writer E. Jean Carroll. Carroll accused Trump of sexually assaulting her in the 1990s, allegations he vehemently denied, calling her a liar. A jury, however, found Trump liable for sexually abusing Carroll and then defaming her, ordering him to pay a combined total of $5 million in the first case and a whopping $83.3 million in the second. That's right, $83.3 million. That's more money than most of us will see in a lifetime, and it's all because Trump couldn't keep his mouth shut. The message is clear: words have consequences, especially when those words are false and damaging. Trump, being Trump, is appealing both verdicts. But these cases serve as a stark reminder that even the most powerful people can be held accountable for their words, particularly when those words are used to harm and silence others. From beauty pageants to casinos, Donald Trump has built an empire on the image of wealth and success. But behind the glitz and gold-plated everything lies a tangled web of business dealings that have landed him in hot water yet again. This time, it's all about real estate and the alleged inflation of property values. New York Attorney General Letitia James accused Trump and his company of fraudulently inflating the value of their assets to secure favorable loans and insurance policies. Think of it like this. Imagine walking into a bank and claiming your beat-up Honda Civic is actually a Lamborghini to get a bigger loan. The court wasn't buying it. Trump was found liable for fraud, and the penalty was a hefty one: $355 million plus interest. That's enough money to buy a small island, a fleet of Lamborghinis, real ones this time, or even a decent head of hair. Trump, predictably, is appealing the ruling, but this case, along with the others, paints a picture of a pattern of potential deception, of pushing the boundaries of legality, and of facing the consequences when those boundaries are crossed. Section 5. Election interference in Georgia's backyard. The 2020 election was a nail-biter, with Joe Biden ultimately emerging victorious. But for Donald Trump, accepting defeat wasn't in the cards. Instead, he embarked on a campaign to overturn the results, culminating in the infamous phone call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, where Trump urged him to find enough votes to swing the election in his favor. This, my friends, is where things get really serious. Trump and 18 of his associates were indicted in Georgia on racketeering and conspiracy charges related to their attempts to overturn the election results. We're talking about potential interference with a fundamental pillar of American democracy, the right to free and fair elections. This case is still unfolding, with potential for years of legal battles. The stakes are incredibly high, not just for Trump, but for the future of American democracy itself. It's a stark reminder that our institutions are only as strong as our willingness to defend them. Adding to the intrigue, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, who spearheaded the case, was removed by a judge in December 2024. The reasons for her removal and the impact on the case remain unclear, leaving the future of this crucial legal battle uncertain. Section 6. Dismissed charges and the shadow of doubt. Remember that time Trump allegedly took classified documents from the White House and stored them at his Mar-a-Lago resort? It sounds like the plot of a bad spy thriller, but it actually happened. Trump faced federal charges related to mishandling classified information, obstruction of justice, and making false statements. The case, however, took an unexpected turn after Trump's re-election in 2024. Special counsel Jack Smith, who had been appointed to investigate the matter, dropped all charges against Trump. While the Justice Department hasn't provided a detailed explanation, it's widely believed that Trump's return to the White House and the potential constitutional crisis of prosecuting a sitting president played a significant role in the decision. The dismissal, while a legal victory for Trump, leaves a cloud of unanswered questions hanging over the case. Did political considerations trump the pursuit of justice? And what does this mean for the future of accountability for powerful figures? Section 7. The fight to remain in power. The classified documents case wasn't the only instance where Trump faced legal scrutiny for his actions following the 2020 election. He was also indicted on federal charges related to his efforts to overturn the election results, including conspiracy to defraud the United States and obstruction of an official proceeding. These charges stemmed from Trump's actions leading up to the January 6th Capitol riot, where his supporters stormed the Capitol building in a bid to prevent the certification of Joe Biden's victory. Prosecutors argued that Trump's words and actions incited the violence and constituted a direct attack on American democracy, despite a Supreme Court ruling in July 2024 that limited presidential immunity in such cases, and a new indictment issued in August 2024, the charges against Trump were ultimately dropped following his re-election. The Justice Department cited the complexities of prosecuting a sitting president and the need for national unity as factors in their decision. Section 8. Echoes of January 6th in the courtroom. While the federal charges related to January 6th may have been dropped, the legal fallout from that fateful day is far from over. Trump faces 8 separate civil lawsuits stemming from the Capitol riot, filed by injured Capitol police officers and Democratic lawmakers. These lawsuits accuse Trump of inciting the violence, alleging that his words and actions directly led to the injuries and trauma suffered by those present at the Capitol on January 6th. The plaintiffs are seeking damages and accountability for the events of that day. Despite Trump's attempts to have the cases dismissed on grounds of presidential immunity, a federal appeals court ruled that the lawsuits can proceed. This decision marks a significant legal setback for Trump and paves the way for potentially damaging testimony and evidence to come to light. Section 9. Seeking justice for the exonerated 5. Long before the 2020 election and the January 6th insurrection, a younger Donald Trump inserted himself into a case that would become a symbol of racial injustice in America, the Central Park Five. In 1989, 5 Black and Latino teenagers were wrongfully convicted of the brutal assault and rape of a white woman jogging in Central Park. Trump, then a real estate mogul, took out full-page ads in New York City newspapers calling for the death penalty for the teenagers, even though they maintained their innocence. Years later, the 5 men were exonerated by DNA evidence and the confession of the actual perpetrator. They sued the city of New York and were awarded a $41 million settlement. However, the shadow of Trump's incendiary words and his refusal to acknowledge their innocence still lingers. The exonerated 5 have filed a defamation lawsuit against Trump, alleging that his words fueled public outrage and contributed to their wrongful convictions. This case, unlike the others, is expected to proceed regardless of Trump's political status. It serves as a stark reminder of the lasting impact of racial bias in the justice system and the consequences of using one's platform to spread harmful rhetoric. Section 10. A rocky road ahead. Donald Trump's legal journey is far from over. Despite his re-election and the dismissal of some charges, a mountain of legal challenges awaits him. From defamation suits to ongoing investigations into his business practices, the former president faces a future clouded by uncertainty and potential legal repercussions. The impact of Trump's re-election on these legal battles is complex and multifaceted. While some cases have been dropped due to his return to office, others, like the civil suits and state-level charges, continue to move forward. The legal precedent set by prosecuting a sitting president or a former president for actions taken while in office adds another layer of complexity to an already convoluted situation. One thing is for sure, Trump's legal troubles are far from over. Whether he'll be able to navigate this complex web of litigation and emerge unscathed remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the coming years will be a defining chapter in the ongoing saga of Donald J. Trump.